What is going on YouTube? Espresso Shucko here, and today I am experimenting with Origin Form Palkia. The main difference between Origin Form Palkia and regular Palkia is Origin Form does need to give up its item slot to hold the Lustrous Globe, which allows it to maintain this appearance. The Lustrous Globe, as a held item, does give Palkia a 20% boost to its water and dragon type attacks, which is fortunate because those are both Palkia's stab types, which means Palkia is going to get the damage modifier from stab on top of the 20% boost from the Lustrous Globe, which means both Spatial Rend and Hydro Pump have the potential to do a lot of damage. And on top of that, Palkia in Origin form is considerably faster than regular Palkia. Regular Palkia has a base 100 speed, while Origin Palkia has a base 120 speed. And what you used to see back in the day, especially in the Sword and Shield format, was Palkia would try to be as slow as possible and run Trick Room. Now, Trick Room coming off a base 100 Pokemon is little bit questionable. It's even more questionable coming off of a base 120 speed Pokemon. So this Palkia here is looking to be a sweeper and hit as hard as possible with Spatial Rend and Hydro Pump, while also having the Icy Wind as a potential means of a little bit of backup speed control, while also breaking the odd Focus Sash here and there. Joining Palkia today is going to be Urshifu Rapid Strike, Rillaboom, Tornadus, Landorus, and Heatran. So outside of the Icy Wind, we do have Tailwind to give us some speed control for the team, and we have Rain Dance to power up both Palkia's Hydro Pump and Urshifu's Surging Strikes. I really want Palkia to do as much damage as possible today, and we're going to see if we can pull it off. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, well, I tried. Team building for this thing was a little bit hard, not gonna lie, but I took a lot of Pokemon that I know are really good, slap them together, and hopefully that's a team. And if not, well, back to the drawing board later on. Anyways, we have Rillaboom here with some Fake Out support here. We have Grassy Glide to pick off some weakened targets. We have U-Turn to pivot out. We're going to play with U-Turn for both the Rillaboom and the Urshifu to try to pivot out those Pokemon and keep the dynamic going. And then that way, too, if we get a nice opportunity to switch in Palkia, we do have that. If we can switch in Landorus or Heatran, great. This Heatran here is going to play a little bit supportive with the Will-O-Wisp, while also being a bulky special attacker with Heat Wave and Flash Cannon. And Landorus here is a bulkier variant with a lot more investment into its HP compared to its special attack. We do have max speed on this thing so that we can be a fast threat, and with the Sheer Force and Life Orb boost, we're going to make up for that lack of special attack investment. We have Earth Power here on Landorus to just benefit from stab. We have Terra Poison to boost up the power of Sludge Wave, not Sludge Bomb, because this Palkia is also a Telepathy Mon, and I wanted to try out the Telepathy ability. So normally you would run Sludge Bomb on Landorus, and it would be a nice strong single target poison type attack, but we're going to run Sludge Wave, which is a special spread move that will still benefit from Terra Poison. And the nice thing here too is Palkia won't be hit by Sludge Wave, and neither will Heatran, thanks to Heatran's Steel type immunity to Poison. So we're going to try to run the Sludge Wave here on Landorus, but just keep in mind, if you're not running Telepathy, you probably should run the Sludge Bomb instead. And finally, on Landorus, we do have Psychic to also benefit from the Sheer Force Life Orb combination to benefit that. And this way too, if we run into opposing Landorus Incarnates, then we do have a means of hitting it, because Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave won't do much damage to a regular Landorus, and Earth Power will be completely useless unless that Landorus terrestrializes away from the ground flying type. So we have the Psychic there to just hit opposing Landoruses, and the odd thing that might not appreciate that either. So anyways, that's the team in a nutshell. Let's jump right on in to some battles. Alright, we have Kyogre, Tornadus, Urshifu, Farigiraf, Jolteon. Jolteon looks really cool, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to see what that thing can do. And finally, we have Iron Hands. Now, Trick Room could be really bad coming off of Farigiraf for Palkia, but at the same time, Urshifu, Torn could be really nice here. If we can get a major amount of damage off into the Iron Hands of Urshifu, that could be nice, especially if they don't Terra, or we go for a U-turn. Landorus might be alright here. I think Landorus might be a good choice to bring. I think what we can do here is we can bring Rillaboom, Landorus, and then that way, unless they go for Graph Iron Hands, like I can fake out the Iron Hands and then hit them for an Earth Power or a Sludge Wave. which would be relatively nice. I think we bring Palkia in the back, and honestly, I think Urshifu looks really nice here because I can always do some major damage with close combat or surging strikes. And U-turn could be really nice to pivot in and out as well. And if the Kyogre is Terra Grass, which I'm fairly certain most Kyogres are Terra Grass, U-turn would be really nice for some chip damage into it, and being able to pivot off of it at the same time is going to be handy. So let's see how this works out with Palkia. So we have Urshifu for Rigraff. All right, so it's Urshifu single strike. So no fake out coming right out of the gate. The Urshifu could be a little bit concerning here for me, but what I could do here is I could Earth Power into the Urshifu, and I think I'm safe to just straight up Wood Hammer into it too. If we can get that thing off in the field, that would be wonderful. Landorus is going to move first here, which we're just going to pick up a critical hit and get a knockout right into the Urshifu. So the Wood Hammer is going to nail this for Rigraff, which I am very happy about, by all means. And if Trick Room comes out, not the worst thing imaginable either. So Rillaboom's going to take the recoil here, and we're just going to see a Hyper Voice. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to U-turn off of the Rigraff with Rillaboom. And I think I'm just going to try to get some damage off into the Kyogre with Landorus. Yeah, I think Landorus is just going to try to get some damage off. I could also pop Terra Poison with Landorus and go for a Sludge Wave. There's no Tailwind right here, and Landorus is faster than Kyogre, so I like the idea of going for the Earth Power, but I don't know for sure if it's the best idea or not. You know what? I think I'm going to Earth Power the Farigiraf with Landorus just to deny Trick Room, and I'm going to U-turn off of the Kyogre. And this way, too, if Kyogre is going to go for Water Spout, not the worst thing imaginable, we'll get rid of Farigiraf here with the Earth Power. I just need Rillaboom to outspeed this thing, which I don't necessarily think... Oh, it's Origin Pulse, and Landorus dodged. All right. Rillaboom's also going to get the hang in there with 6 HP. And we got a Rage Quit. Okay, we got a Rage Quit right there. So they really needed the Landorus to go down there, unfortunately. Which Landorus dodged, which that is the one thing about Origin Pulse. I'm shocked they didn't go for Water Spout or Ice Beam for that matter, because they were faster than Rillaboom. But anyways, it is what it is. Alright, we have a Kyogre team with Wo-Chien, Iron Jugulis, Urshifu, Incineroar, and Grimmsnarl. This might be really nice for Palkia. This might be extremely nice for Palkia. Now, the Wo-Chien could be a little bit of a problem for Rillaboom, but honestly, I think I can bring Palkia here. I don't have a means of hitting the Kyogre for super effective damage with Palkia, but the 4 times resistance to water is going to be really nice. The Wo-Chien is going to be a little bit of a problem, but it's not the worst case scenario. U-turn could be really nice off of that thing. I like bringing Tornadus and maybe even Landorus. Urshifu just does so much raw damage to my opponent too, so I think we bring Urshifu. I think we bring Rillaboom and Urshifu. I think we bring Torn in the back, and then that way we can always U-turn out if we need to. You know what? I think I want to lead Urshifu with Palkia, and then that way I have a faster U-turn that way. So I think that's what we do. I think we leave Landorus on the bench here. I think we leave Heatran too. The Terra Grass on Heatran would have been kind of nice, but I don't really think it's going to do me any favors. So there is that. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. The Wo-Chien could be a big problem if it starts setting up Leech Seeds. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that. It's just Grimmsnarl and the Iron Jugulis coming right out of the gate. So there's their booster energy. I think we just try to get Grimmsnarl off of the field. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to click... I think I'm going to click the Hydro Pump. Hope I land it, and I'm going to go for the Surging Strikes right into Grimmsnarl. If they go for Reflect, great. I'm going to bypass that with Surging Strikes. If they go for Light Screen, well, Surging Strikes is still going to hit them. I just need to land this Hydro Pump, which is a little bit questionable. They're going for a Blind Hurricane out of the rain, which they missed, but I also missed my Hydro Pump, so at least I get my Surging Strikes off. So there is that. Unfortunately, though, not the biggest amount of damage per se, but I mean, it is half of their HP, so I do like that. Alright. I think I'm going to Spatial Rend the Jugulus, and Hurricane can get really nasty really fast, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Detect off of Urshifu. I think we just see a Reflect come out of the Grimmsnarl here, so I think Urshifu is going to be relatively safe on that front. So there's another Hurricane just off of the Jugulus right into my Urshifu. Great. There's no Tailwind out of this thing. If we can get some major damage, great. And honestly, Spatial Rend does have that bonus crit rate, so if we pick it up, all the better. Now we're going to take the Spirit Break, so no Reflect off of the... there's no Reflect off of the Grimmsnarl. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to preserve Palkia. And if I take a Hurricane, I do get dropped to my Focus Sash, which is not the end of the world if I'm not Terra'd. I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to try to get Jugulus off the field. And Urshifu is definitely going to outspeed Grimmsnarl, so what I can do is I can try to hit the Jugulus, and if they go for Tailwind now, great. I have Torn in the back. I can offset the Tailwind. They might just try to Spirit Break into Palkia since they know that's KO range. So I think if I get rid of the Jugulus before a Tailwind goes up, I'm going to be in a really nice position. So there's a Snarl coming out, which means there might be a Spirit Break actually coming into Urshifu, which could be unfortunate. But we're just going to hit that Jugulus right here. Not the most damage, but this should be enough to KO it, and if it is, great. I can fake out the Grimmsnarl, I can U-turn into whatever comes in. If it's Kyogre, that'd be great for Urshifu. Yeah, alright, so it's going to be Spirit Break right into the Urshifu, so that's unfortunately going to be a KO, but that was also a critical hit, which not the greatest for me, but it is what it is. They don't have Reflect up just yet. So, I think what I can do is I can bring Tornadus in. I can go for a Bleak Wind if I need it. And if... Oh, that's Incineroar. Alright, so... I have Terra Ghost on my Rillaboom. I can dodge a Fake Out if I need to. And Torn does have the Covert Cloak. But I think... I don't really think that matters too much. What I could even do is I could fake out the Incineroar. Yeah, I could do that. Decisions. I think I'll fake out into the Incin, and I'll just click the Bleak Wind Storm. We might just see a Spirit Break come off of the Grimmsnarl into Torn. But at least we get to hit the Incin for the Fake Out, which means we don't have to worry about the Fake Out into Rillaboom. We get a little bit of chip off with the Bleak Wind, which is not the worst thing imaginable. And we don't see a Reflect, so this is probably going to be Spirit Break into Torn. So, what I could do right now is I could go for a U-turn into the Grimmsnarl, bring in Palkia, and go for the Tailwind. Or what I do is I even set the Rain Dance, so that I can hit with Bleak Winds. Yeah. I could do that. But I think Kyogre's in the back. We haven't seen the Wo-Chien, which is nice. There's a Prankster Thunder Wave coming off into Torn, so, you know, not the greatest per se, but getting Rillaboom out could be okay. Especially since Palkia does resist fire relatively nice. and this will clear our attack drop into Rillaboom. And I don't really want to become neutral to water type attacks just yet. If I know for sure I can get away from... Oh, here comes the parting shot off the Incin, so this might have just gotten okay. Yeah, this might have just gotten okay here, because if Kyogre comes in, I do have the Rain Boost working in Palkia's favor. There's no Fake Out now on the field, so we don't have to worry about Wo-Chien. The Terra is still possible to happen for either side, so we might see it into the Kyogre slot. I like going for the Spatial Rend into the... yeah, I like going for the Spatial Rend into the Kyogre just to try to get some damage off. And I like going for the Bleakwind Storm here too, and then this way, if we connect it into Grimmsnarl, great. That's a little bit of chip damage, and we can try to whittle that thing's HP down. It's kind of curious that I haven't seen the Reflect yet. Palkia is going to take the Thunder Wave, which, you know, it is what it is, but Palkia doesn't have the most HP left. So long as I can keep... Ooh, we're still faster than the Kyogre, though. Oh, yeah, because of the Tailwind. I strongly think that is Assault Vest, or that is just really good Light Screen support with the EVs. We're going to eat an Ice Beam. I can tolerate that. Now, what I don't like happening is, I don't like the idea of Incineroar coming in here, getting an attack drop off into Palkia, which honestly, the Kyogre might switch out. They might Terra instead. They did reveal the... They did just reveal the Ice Beam, which, you know, a lot of Kyogres tend to have that anyways. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Spatial Rend into Palkia again, and I think I'm going to pop the Terra Ghost, and I'm going to Grassy Glide into the Grimmsnarl slot. Now, Incineroar hypothetically could switch into Grimmsnarl, and if it does, I'm now weak to Dark type attacks, but at least I'm neutral to Ice Beam, so if I can get a little bit of damage off of the Kyogre again and just whittle down Water Spout, that's going to be okay. And honestly, if this is Terra Grass, Icy Wind is going to be really nice as well. So Kyogre's going to stay in. I don't dislike the idea of getting a little bit of chip damage off into the Kyogre. And honestly, Palkia Hydro Pumping Incineroar would not be the worst thing imaginable. So we're going to just get rid of Grimmsnarl before a potential Reflect can go up. And even while paralyzed with the Tailwind, we still are faster than the Kyogre, which is really nice. So not quite enough to be half, but at least we're going to take this moderately well. So Water Spout can hurt now, but at the end of the day, I do have Palkia being 4 times resistant to both fire and water type attacks. So, not the worst thing imaginable. Now, Rillaboom can't be faked out either. That's also a really nice thing too. I think what I do here is I attempt to Hydro Pump into the Incineroar, and I go for a U-turn right in the Kyogre. Rillaboom's going to be faster than it too, so in theory, we can do some respectable damage to this thing. And if Incineroar fakes out Palkia, not the end of the world. That is a very, very bulky Kyogre. We're going to land the Hydro Pump. It's enough to knock out the Incineroar. So, in theory, I should just be able to whittle down the Kyogre here. Palkia is actually the one to take the Ice Beam, so I'm okay with that. Now, Tailwind is gone. Light Screen is finally gone, too, so there is that. I'm going to click the Icy Wind off of Palkia, and I'm just going to try to get the U-turn off into Kyogre. We're still faster than it, which is very nice, and there's the Water Spout coming out, which is just... that does nothing there. We made sure to keep that in line, and Palkia does get to land the Icy Wind, so that is going to be enough to knock out Kyogre. Now, the fortunate thing here, too, is we didn't get paralyzed, or rather, we didn't deal with the full para on the Palkia. We just had the speed drop, so that was relatively nice. The Light Screen, unfortunately, just didn't really help Palkia's damage output, but at the end of the day, Palkia was able to pick up that KO into the Incineroar, even with Light Screen negating half of my damage output, so The Rain Boost did help, but at the end of the day, Palkia did what it needed to. It had the bonus damage off the Lustrous Globe to finish off Incineroar. It was unfortunate that we missed the Grimmsnarl on turn 1, but in the bare minimum, at least we got that thing off the field, and the Reflect wearing off was not the Reflect, the Light Screen wearing off was fortunate as well too. So anyways, that's enough rambling for that. Good game to my opponent. Alright, we have a Miraidon team with Whimsicott, Standard Form, Ursaluna, Iron Hands, Farigiraf, and Orthworm. Now, Heatran looks pretty decent here, so does Landorus. I do have to be very careful about the Orthworm and its Earth Eater ability, but Landorus doesn't look too shabby here. We could potentially go for an Earth Power to hit that Iron Hands. I do have the Sludge Wave to hit the entire field, so I don't have to worry about some redirection. As far as Palkia goes, Palkia could be okay because we do have a little bit of speed control with the Icy Wind. Though, that said, the main two that we're going to really need that for is the Whimsicott and the Miraidon. So, as far as a lead goes, I think Urshifu might be really nice here, and I think we could even get away with Rillaboom. Rillaboom Palkia could be nice, and then that way I can always pivot out with U-turn. I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to bring Rillaboom and Landorus first, and then we'll bring Palkia in the back, followed along with the Urshifu, maybe. Yeah, I think the Urshifu is going to be okay, because Close Combat is going to do a fair amount of damage to the Ursaluna. Miraidon doesn't appreciate it either. If it's a non-bulky Miraidon, I can do a lot of damage to it with Close Combat, so we just got to get it lower down on the speed side, and plus, my opponent's team does look like they do have that Trick Room mode, so they might be running less speed investment on Miraidon, which could be relatively nice. So it is going to be Farigiraf and Iron Hand, so that's probably going to be Trick Room trying to come out, which honestly, not the worst thing imaginable. I could U-turn off of the Farigiraf, and I can go for the Earth Power into the Iron Hands. Yeah, I could do that. They might Terrastalize, which, if they do, that's great. I'm pretty sure a Fake Out's coming into Landorus, though, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to U-turn, and I'm going to Earth Power. Try to get the damage off. There is the Fake Out into Landorus, so you know what? That's fine. We'll at least get the U-turn off, and then get some decent damage off into Farigiraf, and we can bring in Palkia. I don't dislike bringing in Palkia here, and then that way too, on the off chance they didn't go for damage, well, at least if they didn't go for Trick Room and they went for damage, at least Palkia is on the field now. So there is the Trick Room. You know what? That's fine. Iron Hands can be a little bit annoying, but what I could do is I could click the Terra Poison and go for the Sludge Wave. I could do that. I think I'm going to click the Spatial Rend, just try to get some damage off, and I think I'm just going to click that Sludge Wave. Now, I don't think I need the Terra just yet. I'm thinking what they might do is they might pop Terra Grass on the Iron Hands. So, they're going to go for Helping Hand. Great. Palkia is not going to appreciate this. Neither is Landorus. Close Combat off of the Iron Hands. Alright. That's just a one-shot into Palkia. That's very unfortunate, but at least I get the Sludge Wave off into both of these Pokemon, and the Iron Hands does have a special defense drop, so there is that. So that did nothing. Yeah, that did nothing. Okay. Not a great start, but what I could do is I could just try to stall out the Trick Room a little bit and go from there. Rillaboom going for another U-turn could be nice to deal with that Farigiraf. I think I could go for just a straight Wood Hammer too with Rillaboom. Straight Wood Hammer into Iron Hands might not be the worst thing imaginable. I'm going to protect Landorus on the off chance that they go for it. So the Close Combat into Palkia was just really not the greatest there, but you know what? That's fine. Here comes the Helping Hand into the Iron Hands again. Landorus is going to get my Protect off, so I'm hoping they went for the Landorus and they left Rillaboom alone. Yeah, they went for a Drain Punch into Landorus. I'm not quite sure why Drain Punch specifically, but I'll take that. I will gladly take that. We'll get the Wood Hammer off. Not quite enough to finish off the Iron Hands, but what I could do here is I could go for a U-turn into the Farigiraf, and I can try to finish off that Iron Hand. I could also a U-turn into the Iron Hand. I think Drain Punch comes into Rillaboom. Yeah, okay. I'm going to click the Earth Power and just try to get that thing gone. And honestly, if we connect this, that could be really good. Rillaboom is going to take the Drain Punch this time. I'm kind of curious as to why they went for the Drain Punch into Landorus the last turn, but Rillaboom is going to connect that U-turn off. Not quite enough to finish off for Farigiraf, but at least this lets me get Urshifu in, and Landorus can hit that Iron Hands for the Earth Power, get the damage off into it, and we can go from there. So, definitely grateful for the -1 special defense drop-off for close combat. It's kind of interesting, too, that the Iron Hands had double fighting moves as well as Fake Out. So I'm guessing the last move was probably Wild Charge or Supercell Slam. Ursaluna is coming in here now. What do we have for Trick Room? This is the very last turn of Trick Room, which is going to be very nice. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Detect, and I'm going to Protect just to stall this out. And then that way we can burn the last turn of Trick Room. If Miraidon is in the back, not the greatest for Urshifu, but at least we do have the raw damage option right there. So if Miraidon is in the back, I'm going to want to maybe keep the ground typing on Landorus and maybe just pop the Terra on Urshifu just to make sure that Surging Strikes does a little bit more damage. So yeah, there's that. Now, what I could do is I could go for the close combat into the Ursaluna, and I could try to go for some damage into the Farigiraf with Landorus just to finish it off. I think we're going to see a Terra normal off of the Ursaluna, so I kind of want to drop the fighting type weakness to Psychic by going Terra Water. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Terra Water. I think from here I'm just going to... I think I'm going to Surging Strikes into the Ursaluna on the off chance that they do go Terra Ghost. And I think I'm just going to get rid of the Farigiraf right here with Landorus. So we'll get our Terra off into Urshifu. Hit this thing hopefully for major damage as long as it doesn't Terastallize, and then the other thing, too, is at least this way we can potentially keep our Focus Sash intact for the last Pokemon in the back of my opponent's team. So they are finally going to reveal their Terra. So it is going to be the Farigiraf. All right. And Terra Ground. All right. Landorus is going to remove this thing from the field, and you committed the cardinal sin of protecting in front of an Urshifu. So, yeah, there's that. All right. So, Farigiraf goes down, and Urshifu is going to hit this thing with a Terra-boosted Surging Strike, so that should just remove that from the field. And plus, it is burned, so there is that. So we're gonna nail this Ursaluna right here. Landorus has the Earth Power, so in theory I can go for the Miraidon with both of these Pokemon. I do have the Focus Sash, so unless they can't even really get around this with Discharge because Landorus is still immune to electric type attacks. Now a Draco Meteor could be really gross, but I think I'm just safe to go for the close combat as well as the Earth Power. Or what I do is I click Protect on Landorus this turn, and then that way if they go for Urshifu, great. I don't lose Landorus. So I think that's all I have to do is I think I just click Protect here with Landorus. If they go for Landorus, right, they'd lose that, and I preserve my Focus Sash. And they don't have a means of hitting both of these Pokemon. The Draco Meteor is kind of interesting there. I'm pretty sure they could have just gotten away with doing an electric type attack, because the Focus Sash does keep me intact, but now they also lower their own special attack. Landorus is fairly safe, and unless they have a surprise Dazzling Gleam, I think we just clean up right here. So we just click the Close Combat, and we just click the Earth Power. And yeah, that seals the deal right there. So a little bit unfortunate that we didn't really get to pull off the Sludge Wave next to Palkia and letting Palkia dodge it, but unfortunately, it is what it is. We were able to come back and pick up the win that way. So Landorus and Urshifu, as well as Rillaboom, they all definitely pulled. They pulled more than their fair share of the weight, and they also pulled Palkia along to victory. So there we go. Good game to my opponent. Alright, we have an Ice Rider team here with Farigiraf, Electabuzz, Ursaluna, Blood Moon, Annihilate, and Smeargle. So, interesting. Alright. Trick Room is definitely going to be a bit of a problem, but if we could deny it, that would be delightful. I don't think we are going to deny it, but what we could do instead is we can just try to do as much raw damage as possible. I think we bring in Landorus here. Palkia could be really nice here too, especially with the Sludge Wave. We do have the means of getting the spread damage out, so there is that. You know what? Palkia or Landorus Heatran might be the better bet, and then that way I have Heat Wave and Sludge Wave that can hit as both a spread move. We'll bring Palkia in the back, and Rillaboom might be okay here. Rillaboom might be alright. Because what we can potentially do too with Heatran is we can potentially burn the Ice Rider. And if we can burn the Ice Rider, that would be very handy. Yeah. Now, Terra Fire Ice Rider would be a huge problem. But at the end of the day, we get the Heat Wave off. We get the Sludge Wave off too. That's some decent damage. So it's going to be Farigiraf and Calyrex. So no Follow Me, which is nice. On the off chance that's Terra Fire, I would like to go for a Earth Power into it and just try to get some decent damage. And honestly, Farigiraf could potentially just go for the Helping Hand, and Calyrex can go for a Glacial Lance. So I don't know if I want to go for my Terra right out of the gate. I'm going to go for the Earth Power. And on the off chance that it's not Terra Fire, I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. There's that. Okay. So, we don't burn the Terra there, which is nice. We do get the reveal of the Will-O-Wisp. So, we might see the Calyrex Terra next turn, which could be gross. Farigiraf goes for the Trick Room. Not what I had wanted to see off that, but it is what it is. I was a little bit more weary of their restricted there, so I'm going to Terra Poison. I'm going to go for the Earth Power into the Calyrex just in case, and I'm just going to go for Heat Wave this time. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a Terra off Calyrex. If this is Terra Fire, they're going to reveal it. And I really don't want to take a Glacial Lance while being 4 times weak to it. So with no boosts, Landorus might be okay if it drops the 4 times weakness to Ice. Now a Psychic type attack into Landorus, that would be enough to disrupt things. But we're going to see the Terra coming off the Calyrex, so no reason to go for the Will-O-Wisp. It is indeed Terra Fire, so if Landorus can survive, great. I would love to get a Earth Power off into you. And super effective Sheer Force, Life Orb boosted Earth Power should do a lot of damage at the end of the day. So we're going to pop that Terra Poison, and we're going to go from there and see what we can do. Psychic Noise is actually going into Heatran instead, so great. Maybe they thought I was going to protect Landorus. So, let's see right here. Landorus gets to hang in there. Not a lot of HP left, but that's alright. We also get to pick up a burn into the Farigiraf, which is nice. So how much is this Sheer Force Earth Power going to do? That's enough to knock out. Great. Alright, Calyrex is gone. So, Landorus. If I could kiss this thing, I would. But, unfortunately, it's a little bit toxic at the moment. So, probably for the best not to. That, it's also a computer screen. But anyways. Weird tangent aside. I think we click Protect on Landorus here. I think we go for a Heat Wave off of the Heatran. And I think we just try to keep Landorus healthy until this Trick Room wears off. Now, Electabuzz does have some decent bulk, but depending on how this is built, it might be a physically bulky Electabuzz, which would be alright at the end of the day. We might... Oh, if I remember right from running into this team before, I think the Electabuzz has Feint. I think we're going to lose Landorus here. I think the Protect is going to get hit with the Feint. But, you know what? Palkia can come in here. No Feint. Okay. Just a Psychic Noise right into Landorus. So maybe Eerie Impulse? No, Volt Switch. Okay. Alright. You know what? I'm alright with that. Depending on how many turns of Trick Room we have left, I can just switch Landorus out. Bring in, say, maybe... Oh, there's the Smeargle. Okay. So, I don't mind getting a Heat Wave off into you. That's a lot of damage, and plus Farigiraf is still going to take the residual burn as well. So, I think Landorus is going to switch out here. I think I'm going to bring in Rillaboom, just so that I have the... Fake Out Pressure, and I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon right into the Farigiraf. And then this way too, once Trick Room's done, I can potentially just deal with these two. Farigiraf, at the end of the day, still has the potential to do a lot of damage, so I want to get Heatran... set up by just... Or rather, just... I just want Heatran to just knock out the Farigiraf. Heatran's not setting up here, but... getting Fake Out would be nice for Rillaboom, and U-Turn is going to be really nice to pivot into Palkia. There's a Spore. Alright. Not great. But I can click Heat Wave and just try to keep Heatran around. We're going to take the Psychic Noise into Rillaboom. Now, the good thing here is Heatran takes its guaranteed turn to sleep now, so we could try to survive. So, I might wake up. I might not. If I wake up, great. This is the last turn of Trick Room. I want to U-turn and try to get rid of that Smeargle, because that can be a problem, and I'm going to Heat Wave. If I wake up, great. There's the Decorate coming out. Oh, now they're taunting me. Now they're taunting me right there. If I wake up and I hit them with that, I don't understand why they clicked Decorate into Heatran. I genuinely think that was a misclick right there, unless they want to go for Foul Play, but that's not going to be doing them any favors. So, Trick Room is gone after this turn. I think I'm just going to bring in the Landorus, and then I can Sludge Wave next to Heatran. I really don't understand why they went for the Decorate, but you know what? I'm going to take it. I'm still asleep. Now, if they had gone for Decorate into Farigiraf, which is what I think they genuinely meant to do, that could have been really bad. Now, Silver Lining. I don't have to worry about Sludge Wave getting redirected by Follow Me. So, there is that. Sludge Wave is going to do a decent amount of damage, thanks to the Stab Boost from Terra Poison. And I don't think Electabuzz is expecting a Sludge Wave. I think it's expecting a Sludge Bomb. So we're just going to click the Sludge Wave and the... there's that. Okay. We'll take that right there. Palkia didn't come to this one, but hey. Landorus did a very good job, which I am very happy about. And yeah, and we also got a Decorate boost into Heatran, surprisingly enough. But anyways, you know what? I will take it. good game to my opponent. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out this Palkia Origin team in action. Unfortunately for Palkia, Landorus just kind of stole the show. We ended up having that one match there where Palkia came in into Trick Room and ate a close combat off of an Iron Hands for the one-shot into Palkia, so Palkia didn't really do much, but the rest of the team was able to pull together and just pull out the win for us, but unfortunately, Palkia just didn't really have that good of a showing today. I think it needs a little bit more support than what I initially built and envisioned for Palkia. I originally hoped that Palkia would have been able to be a little bit more of a stronger sweeper, but it was a little bit glassier than I was initially expecting, and I think it could definitely benefit from having some light screen and reflect support. I think Follow Me or even Friend Guard could be great defensive support as well, and Acid Spray could be really good offensive support for it, and you know, maybe even a Pelipper that to naturally bring the rain to boost up Hydro Pump. Now, Hydro Pump did do a lot of damage despite having a light screen up in front of it. The Incineroar just absolutely got decimated by that rain boosted Hydro Pump, so Palkia definitely did have a very good time with that, and it was able to do some raw damage to the Iron Jugulus with Spatial Rend despite the light screen as well, but Palkia just took a lot of damage overall from the Spirit Break off of Grimmsnarl, and fortunately, we were able to whittle down that Kyogre. Then as far as the other matches go, Landorus just had a really good time here. We were able to dodge an Origin Pulse off of a Kyogre, take out the Urshifu in turn 1 with a critical hit, Earth Power with the Sheer Force boost, and then we were able to finish off the weakened Farigiraf on the turn that we dodged the Origin Pulse. So that was a really good time for Landorus, and plus Rillaboom held on with 6 HP, and if my opponent hadn't have Rage Quit, I was going to pivot in Palkia, so the intent was there for Palkia to come in and deal with that Kyogre. Unfortunately, it just didn't get to happen. And then with the Calyrex Ice Rider team that went Terra Fire, Landorus going for Terra Poison and calling the bluff on the Glacial Lance and the Terra Fire for the Earth Power was definitely worth it. So we got to just absolutely obliterate that Terra Fire Calyrex with the Earth Power. We did a lot of damage to the Farigiraf with the Heat Wave. We picked up a burn into it, and honestly, the Smeargle, when it came in, it didn't appreciate the Earth Power either. Or not the Earth Power, the Heat Wave. So we did have an Electabuzz that was going to eat a Sludge Wave at the very end before my opponent did forfeit. So overall, the team did do some good work today. Unfortunately, Palkia just was kind of caught procrastinating just a little bit. So I think we'll be back to the drawing board for future consideration. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. Be sure to leave a like and let me know what you think of the team down in the comments below. And if you have any ideas on how to better support Palkia, be sure to let me know as well. Anyways, I will see you next time.